So, hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Insta Roundtable. And today we have another very important topic, which is the next wave of innovations in employee engagement. And to speak with us, we have Deepak Malhotra, who is the Director of Human Resources and Administration at NAMTECH, who has held post of director in companies like ArcelorMittal and Bennett University. So, Deepak, uh, very good afternoon and a warm welcome to the Insta Roundtable. How are you doing?
Yeah, great. Thank you, Sarbajit. Nice to be here. And thank you very much for inviting me over to something which is very close to my heart. I look forward to a lot of good interaction with you and the team there.
Likewise. Deepak, let's start with you. A few words about your journey from childhood to becoming a leader that you are today. Any kind of vivid moments which you like to share with us?
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of us say that, our childhood were full of struggles. So I had both, both sides of the coin which I had gone through. One side was complete struggle, one side was full of fun, good situations, or I would say situationally bad and good. We lost a lot of land when I was in 10th standard, and that's how we were into a drop. I think the influences which you have till 7 years or 8 years of age in Asian country builds your character. So I think it attributes to my great grandfather, who was the in those days chief editor of Times of India. He is very well known, and he was a freedom fighter also. Then my father and mother, I didn't have any siblings, so I was born and brought up in Delhi, and in my education part, it was more or less in Delhi, and I'm thankful to my parents and my grandfather to not let me drop out of my 10th standard, where I was going into a school which we couldn't afford after we lost everything. So a lot of hard work they have done.
Okay.
Coming back to my career, which you were the second part of the question which you asked me, I started interestingly as a hotel graduate, and in 94, 95, I started as a chef. I was a chef, and then I became the youngest executive chef and the youngest general manager in the country.
Okay.
Moved into training, quality and strategic HR from IBM days. It was close to 19 years back, and last 12 years have been fantastic as a human resource head, leading teams. I would say my more or less my journey is currently in the last 4 or 5 organizations has been building culture, commitment, competence, and systems at an organization level. And yeah, the journey can be summed up into the fifth book which I will write. Fourth I'm writing currently, but the fifth book, from peeling potatoes to writing books. So yeah, that's more or less about me. And yeah,
Very interesting. Very interesting. So, Deepak, let's move on to the main topic right now. So, what are the most common reasons which you think for employees to feel disconnected from their workplace, or from or from their venture, or from the workplace, whatever they're working on?
I think the main reasons, if you want to talk about, disconnected from their workplace, is number one, do they do we, as I'm talking from now, I'm taking one side an organization view and one side an employee view. So as an organization, and as an organization, is there, and as an employee, is there a mismatch between relationship? Because if you look at surveys, employers, 65%, approximately 62 to 65% of the employers feel that the relationship is a committed partnership. But when you look at the engagement score, it is only 9% fully engagement score in the country, and 13% overall. So it is something which makes me think, or makes us think, or should make all of us think, that are they here for only paycheck, or are they here for engage? The second thing which disconnecting is, are they not appreciated, because 36% of the workers, as per the recent survey from PwC, say that at work my opinion seems to not count, or I do not feel appreciated at work. The third important distinction which I feel is they don't have work flexibility. Especially after pandemic, a lot of us or a lot of team members ask me these questions during the interviews when I conduct. Can they work from home? How much of respondent, if you look at it, 85%, 80% of people are asking for work from home or some sort of a flexibility in scheduling or allowing you to have better control over their work environment. I think there is a gap there sometimes between the organization and an employee. Another very important thing, I have always said that people leave organizations when there are less of opportunities to learn, or when you don't have opportunities to grow. So employees don't just want to do a job. I think 30-35% of the employees feel that they have opportunities to learn and grow, which is again a big factor in disengagement. I call it disengagement or completely disengaged resources. I think the fifth important point would be lack of resources. If we look at it in detail, there can be workers communicating, different kinds of communication tools we use. So there are sometimes you don't have leaders 24/7 available, and sadly only 40% of us agree that you have enough resources to do your job daily. So if you look at Q12 of Gallup, the Q0 and Q1 are the most important questions. Do I have the right resources to do my job daily, and do I know what I am expected of to do daily? And I think the last and very important point, or the sixth or seventh point, I forgot my count, it is sixth, I think. They are disconnected from the mission. If I'm not talking about the big thing or drishtikon or vision we talk about, but the mission of the company makes employee feel that job is important. And if you look at it closely, 35 to 37% of the workers agree that the mission of the company is close to what they want or what they think or what they want to do in life, which is an important point. Now, as a leader in remote work, flex works, you have to look at all these things. I hope I'm trying to address it from different industries, because it was a very generic question. It was not specific to industry.
Yes. So talking about remote work, I bring on to the next question. So when like COVID-19 happened, and then there was a lot of remote work happening. Right now, companies are calling their employees back, some on site, some on a hybrid model. So with the onset of these models, like the hybrid and the remote work models, what are the common employee engagement challenges which we are facing today? What do you think of things?
I think it's a big question and a very important question which we have to answer as leaders. So I think we have to look at benefits and challenges from working in terms of work from home, work from office, and hybrid model. So if you have asked me only about hybrid model, I would say benefits, if I have to list down, would offer a balance of flexibility and collaboration. Yes, no. So it offers you that flexibility to collaborate, and it caters to diverse work styles. Also, it caters to diversity, because a lot of people working from home also can apply to you who have taken certain breaks, and potentially enhances employee satisfaction and well-being. The challenges in hybrid model are, you need a lot of careful planning, implementation, because you need to be fair to every employee which you have, and you have to be inclusive. So I think a lot of clear communication which will meet a lot of things. So I would say, if you look at it strategically, and I look human resources just not for an intervention, to get a question and answer it and be there, and which I will maybe talk at a later stage. I think the most important part is financial implication, competitive positioning, what do we do with the innovation and collaboration and organizational culture which we have. So our policies, when we have an hybrid sort of a workplace, and we have some part of it being in education industry, a lot of colleagues are based especially in sales and marketing across the globe. So I think policy development is clear, has to be clear. Clarity, transparency, equity, fairness, flexibility. These are terms which we use. Do we really put it into the real life examples? That's important. And what tools do we use to measure them? How much open our communication is? That's important. I think for me, the recommendation or would be for HR challenges here would be mostly on performance management, talent retention, diversity, inclusion, and employee well-being. I hope I tried and answer your question.
Yes,
In,
very, very good insights. I think Deepak on this coming from you. So I move on to the next one. So suppose you are given, like you can create any software or software to improve employee engagement across the globe. So what would be the top two features in your focus?
I think whenever you do any sort of thing, whenever I have joined an organization, I always ask the leadership one simple thing: what is your definition of ideal employee? So, can you define what features you need for in that HRIS software? So, I think your people competencies grow you quicker. Your best people need to stay together or longer with you, and you need to achieve your business goals faster. I think that is what is the work of any software or any intervention we you have. So if you look at it closely, it keeps you happy in their job, it keeps you productive, and it also improves your retention rate or reduces your attrition rate, which is a key challenge in this global situation currently we are going through. I think if you look at it closely, if you look at it international data also, and if you look at surveys like Gallup or other engagement survey, the best engagement tool should boost employee engagement, should increase teamwork and collaboration, should better employee morale and satisfaction, should allow for, I think, more continuous feedback from employees, which we miss out. We always tell them, what we are expecting. We never ask them that what they expect from us. Should improve employees' performance, measurability of the performance, and productivity of an employee is very important, and should make or ensure that employees are feel valued, appreciated, and heard. So I think this is more or less what I would expect when I select a software. And interestingly, I'm selecting a software currently for my current team and current
Okay.
organization, and we are looking at it in that way. I also have a very simple suggestion for all people leaders here. There are a lot of HR people and non-HR leaders also, because I feel that it is not only the role of an HR leader to engage people. Every people leader's role is of a human resources, representative or human resources. Uh, to take it forward and close it is every person's job or every person's responsibility. It is not only the CEO or the director human resources who needs to do this. I think right employee engagement tool, because I've written a book on it. So right engagement tool has to be powerful, effective, and should also ensure your team success. So the basic funda is very clear. People need to be engaged, happy, and thriving. and
Mm.
you have to look at that as the prioritizing thing in your employee engagement tool and roll it out for your team.
Great.
Can you build
Coming
trust
from,
and employees will thank you for it if you can do that? I think that would be important.
I think coming from you, from a person who has a like vast experience, this kind of insights will also help not only HR folks but also young guys who are coming into HR who will be listening to this podcast and webinar. I think that will also be an inspiration for them to focus on the key areas where they can develop the skills. Right.
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of us, Sarbajit, I've been to a lot of IIMs. I've been to a lot of MBS colleges. You know, the gap between an education institute and what is expected on the real life
Mm.
is huge. If you look at an MBA degree across the country, we don't talk about employee engagement at all in most of the MBA courses. So how do you expect a guy to come and deliver a strategic HR intervention? Has he in his life seen what is Gallup?
Mm.
Has he in his life seen anything apart from Maslow's, which he has learned in seventh, eighth standard?
Mm.
Because Maslow's can be mapped to Gallup's employee engagement survey. How do you manage from a
Mm.
normal, roti, kapda, and makan need to a self actualization need in life?
So I come to the last question of the main question. So, what are the trends in global engagement, and what do you think? Where are we heading in terms of keeping the employees and the team members engaged?
I think that. Can you repeat what you said? What are the global?
Trends in global engagement, like any trends which you see in global engagement, and where are we heading in terms of keeping the employees engaged?
Okay, so I think we have to look at two important factors in this.
Okay.
Does if we go back to your previous question and mix it with this,
Mm.
so what are imperative things which I will look in a employee engagement software? First,
Mm.
it should be able to communicate my things which I want to. So interestingly, I start in any job which I have started as a human resources head, I have started a channel called HR communication. It
Okay.
has to be a channel where you communicate with every employee. And believe me, people say do not over communicate. There is nothing called over communication. The more you communicate, the better you are. Then
Mm.
it should also give you the training tools, because we were talking, in question number one about developing people, and people leave you if you do not develop them. The third thing, it should give you the recognition and reward incentives. This is interesting because we talk about recognition and reward. It will depend on your average age. It will
Mm.
depend on the need of the employee. It will depend on the industry. Sometimes it will be different from a front end worker to a normal, worker in a plant or a education industry like I am currently working with. So
Mm.
next, the fourth important thing, it should give you survey and feedback tool. And the fifth important thing, it should give me performance evaluation system. Very important. We forget as leaders to tell people that this is where you are right, this is where you are wrong, and we don't tell them what is to be done to move my score up from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. We forget that. We do not want to give that post appraisal feedback, we call it in human resources, and it is the most important thing in any PMS system. You
Mm.
can't sit at 2 o'clock in the night and do everybody's appraisal and then say I didn't have time.
Mm.
So I think your engagement, or your engagement software now, as we have picked up the five important things, so what all it should do for me, it should engage people, it should look at my performance, it should be able to retain my important people through whether you want to do a high potential employee, or whatever way you want to retain people. It should be able to give me job satisfaction, I should be happy. It should be innovative, and it should give me business results, which is very important and we miss in human resources. And
Okay.
more than this, I think you know, what we do is we need to have, I call it, or I have used this in various roles of mine, wherein, I would say that sometimes, all people or all hands on deck we call, or we say that, good hour where you can shout at each other, or you ensure that you switch desk for a day. How
Hmm.
many of us will be comfortable, say, if I have to switch my desk with you, Shubhajit, Sarvajit, right? You might not be so comfortable, so you have to, unless and until you are in an ITES setup where you are saving cost and you are having multiple shifts in the same desk.
Yeah, yeah, that is one thing. Yes. True. Like we come to the end of the main questions. Right now, we have a lot of audience questions. A couple of questions which you have picked up, and the rest of the questions we can send you over email. So the
Mhm.
first audience question which you have picked up is: what core principles do you believe are essential for anyone looking to enhance engagement within their teams?
I think we have to again go back to the previous 5 pointers we spoke about: communication,
Hmm.
notification system, how
Okay.
much of training or L&D, recognition and reward,
Hmm.
feedback tools, and performance evaluation, or that would be key, I think, for
Okay.
anything. So if we have to look at it, though I have answered it previously, but
Hmm.
if we'll look at it for a minute extra if you have.
Hmm.
So I think we need to ensure that we have organized channel for specific team projects and initiatives.
Hmm.
We must have an organized channel where we speak to different teams in different way. I think nowadays you can do through WhatsApp, you can do calling through WhatsApp. Then the second thing is seamless integrations, especially when you have, we have been speaking about, work from dual nature,
Hmm.
not from office, or work from home, or, that sort of a scenario. We have to have a seamless integration and have double the fun. I
Hmm.
always say celebrate, successes,
Hmm.
intuitively built mobile apps, boost engagement, do things which are not expected of you. I think that would help.
Okay, great. The second audience question which we have: what are the advantages the of engaged employees? Like, what are the advantages of people who are like dedicated, more engaged in your career? So, which you have seen like very engaged and motivated employees. What are the benefits in the long run? Sitting from a senior HR or a senior leader perspective.
I think very, very, very important question. And we as people leaders must think, why, if you look at it closely, and I'm sorry to say that in a such a public forum, 65% odd of employee organizations in India do not have an HR plan. Okay,
Hmm.
if you don't have HR plan, if you're not engaging people, or and if you're not retaining people, then you're always, whatever you do, you're struggling. So I think advantage of engaged employees or engaged workforce in your team would be, I'm talking from a team angle, I'm talking from a whole leadership angle. I think the most important uh, thing is, will the person stay with me? Will the person be advocate of my companies and its product? Will the person be advocate of my services or contribute to the bottom line of my success? I'll give you a simple example. I
Hmm.
have been working in an education institute. Will my son after graduation study here?
Hmm.
If not, then I should think about something else. Okay, I'm being very honest.
Okay.
Will my son buy a machine which I make? Can be a fridge, can be a washing machine, can be anything. If not, then that is not the right solution. So the second important thing would be, can you motivate them, and or rather they are motivated and they perform better if they are engaged, because happy people always produce better results. There is a significant link as per studies between employee engagement and profitability, and there will be an emotional connect between people and the company. I think this will also help. Employee engagement indirectly, we have spoken about five direct, indirectly builds passion, commitment, and alignment with the strategies, goals. And I was talking about ideal employees definition. What is my ideal leadership definition or ideal vision? Does it collaborate with that? Increases employees' trust in the organizations and creates a sense of loyalty. The last three would be high energy working environment, boost business growth, and makes the employees effective brand ambassador for the company when you talk outside. I'll give you again a very simple example. You know, when I used to work for IBM, I always had that blue card tugged into my pant wherever I used to go. You see any IBM employee or any proud employee of any great organization, his ID card is a reflection of whether he is a brand ambassador of you or not. I'm
So
trying to sum it up for some people, who might not understand some terms
uh,
of human resources.
I think a lot of focus has been given on this thing which you were doing a few years back, which is being a brand ambassador. And right now, many companies are focusing on this brand ambassador thing. And
Yeah, they are focusing on can they be the best employer
yes, yes, yes.
category. But now there are also two types of it. You can do it two ways. So it can your intent and your genuineness comes out after a period of time.
Hmm. Okay, great. Deepak, let's move on to the next section, which is very interesting. So we were talking as recruiter from a recruiter point of view, for a HR point of view. Right now, let's go on the other side of the table, flip the coin. We talk from a candidate perspective. So as a candidate, so there's a question which is in our show, which is job flex. What should job seekers consider when evaluating a potential employer's commitment to employee engagement? So how would they find out that how is my potential employer is committed to employee engagement, which is very important because they should be motivated to last for maybe a few years or a few couple of decades or whatever, right?
So Dada, when I started my career in '94, it was very difficult. Currently, it is very easy, to find out because there are so many channels, there are so many feedback forums where you get feedback. But companies' culture is emerged out of the significant factor. If we look at it, is job seekers' decision making process. So when we are talking about job seeker here, and you have put a question for an HR leader to answer for like he's a candidate. But what I look for, is a candidate should want to work for an organization that aligns. Please, I'm repeating again, that aligns with their values, and it is not right or wrong. My value might be different. After spending 21 years in the industry and doing X number of hours, I wanted to take up something where I can give it back to the society. So I took this industry up. I'm just giving a simple example and provide, and it provide me a positive work environment apart from the value. That would be important for me as a candidate. A strong company culture always fosters employee engagement, job satisfaction, and retention. These three things, if the company focuses on, it will be evident in whichever forum. You can get a feedback on LinkedIn, you can get a feedback on Glassdoor, you can get a feedback on any sort of a software like yours. You also talk a lot about different people, different companies. So, yeah.
Great. So, Deepak, I move on to the last section, which is a very interesting section, which is known as rapid fire. I will ask you a few questions, and whatever comes in your mind, you have to answer first. Okay, so let's start off whenever you're ready.
Sure.
Sure. So, first question: first app in the morning, LinkedIn, email, or news?
For me,
Yeah.
I think first app in the morning is LinkedIn, then Twitter.
Okay.
I'm very active on both.
Very active on both. Great. What's one item you always have on your desk?
My desk is very clean. I can show it to you. I'm a very clean and neat person. My board is always messy, If you look
Okay.
at my board, it talks about 150 odd vacancies, which I need to fill in another 6, 8 months. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's very filled up. But this is how I manage my team, So I was away yesterday in Mumbai. I told them, update the board, huh? Own it. This is your target. I can remind you, I can give you feedback, I can do all the interviews, but this is your you know so I think that is important for me as a people leader.
Lovely. So, Deepak, what's your secret to staying productive throughout the day?
I think you see the smile in me,
Uh,
and I think that's important. I also believe, the difference in productivity comes when you not only in human resources or any function not become a service provider. What I mean by service provider is you are given task and you perform it or execute it. When you become a strategy driven or a strategic person who can shape the future, I think that is what excites you. And I always say do what you love doing. So, and interestingly, as I said in the beginning, I was a chef, a GM, a training head, an HR head. So I think I have had 4 or 5 hats in my career till now in the last 29 years. And yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Great. Next question is: which recent web series or TV show impacted you the most?
This is a difficult question. I think I don't watch so much of web series or TV shows unless and until I get very positive feedback from my family or some friend. So
Okay.
last I watched was a movie called 12th Fail. I think Barbie Fail. 12th Fail was the movie, and
Uh-huh.
then Lapata Ladies was
Okay.
the another movie. So I, anything which has some content attracts me.
Okay.
It has to take my time. So yeah, in series, Money Heist was something which had interested me. It was something nice.
Hmm.
So something which, though it was not ethically right way of earning, and also they had to lose a couple of partners of theirs. They couldn't survive in the whole process. But it was a fantastic series, and the next series has come. It
Hmm.
was really engaging.
Great. Uh, the second last question: which superpower would you use on all employees worldwide? Unlimited work capacity or instant skill acquisition?
Is it your question or somebody's question? I'll answer it a little differently. In
Hmm.
every book I mention about, I have 3 books currently by Bloomberg. So I always mention about a very important line from Spider-Man. With greater powers come greater responsibilities. With great powers come greater responsibilities. So I think I rather than this series, I love these sort of things. I love watching Spider-Man. I love I will pick up something and use it somewhere else. If I see something good in Twitter also, na, I will tell that person,
Hmm.
can I use your this line?
Hmm.
And I will
Okay.
use it if I have to use it. वो LND वाला आदत जाता नहीं है दादा.
Okay. The last question: if you were granted one wish to improve HR worldwide, what would it be?
One wish to improve.
HR worldwide.
I think I would give it a very strategic answer. We, I don't know, because of us only, I would say to blame all of us as HR leaders. We are not in an equilibrium position, of a CFO. as a function, as a leader. The day we become, or the day the CEO or the COO of the organization gives you that power, as that, it takes you there
Hmm.
and tells you that, friend, you are also here to contribute. I think I want that wish to be granted to all the HR leaders, that they become part of, the business objectives. Though there is a lot of, it is not a simple wish, because it will come with a lot of other things. You will have to become more return of investment sort of a person. You will have to build, you know I worked with interesting leaders. I was working with a 7 year younger leader than my age. He was an IIT, IIM, and a Harvard pass out, huh? Very interesting, huh? He said, let's form a component plan which can be bought over by a employee. In 100 rupees you will sell that component plan.
Hmm.
Which leader will tell you to build a plan which can be sold to an employee? When you
Hmm.
are employee, or I am employee, or anybody else is an employee, you will buy whatever the company gives you as a reward and recognition, isn't it? You
Hmm.
won't spend the money. So he said that when credit card can be sold to people,
Hmm.
why can't a service like a reward and recognition be sold to people? We didn't do that. We did sell it at 100 rupees, but we made the plan so much interesting. We just, I call it in my language that you learn something and you, हिंदी में बोल सकता हूँ परिवर्तन. You think about it as a परिवर्तन or a change in your life, and change is always constant. Rest everything remains in one place.
Great. So with that, I come to the end of the Insta Roundtable. Thank you so much, Deepak, to come and help us with all these insights which you came in for, and
Thank you,
hopefully,
Sarabjit.
yeah,
Lovely questions. You took out everything what I have earned or learned in last 29 years of my man management in 45 minutes. Great. I learned a lot of things. Rather, not even 45 minutes, 39 minutes. You have
okay, yes,
taken it, everything out. I have a small message for everybody viewing,
sure, sure,
Maybe, it's something which may excite them,
hmm.
I think as people leaders, I'm not talking about human resources, but as people leader, we need to think about how do we, attract them, charm them, engage them, and identify special projects for people,
Hmm.
and build innovative retention schemes or communicate it in a friendly manner. I think there is criteria like high energy, youth. We have, we are going to be one of the youngest workforce in the world.
Hmm.
So will we be able to use it in a welcoming way? Will be able to use it in a diverse way? And
Hmm.
how do we enroll people in futuristic language or impending language? Communicate and again communicate. Be flexible, and I think align your vision and life, our vision and life, outlook. And I would say that success comes, it's a simple formula. You were asking about
Hmm.
something. Success is equal to, if you look at it in maths, in bracket head plus heart, you are looking at both into your objectives. If you have that formula clear, you are successful. So I
Great,
think this is what I will like to tell people to do.
great. So I will relay the message, obviously. Thank you so much, Deepak, for coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, and God bless you, and
Take care.
take care.
Yeah. Bye bye.